This is episode 83 of the Double Cross Anime podcast, and this week we're doing our first impressions episode for the new season, new year, new decade of anime, winter 2020. We've got 10 shows lined up, and we're going to talk about them,
That
right?
sounds pretty exciting. Yes.
You like it actually sounds exciting, or I sound I sound tired, like that kind of exciting.
Well, imagine that, like 10 years ago, we are already like watching some stuff, anime stuff, but not like casually. For me, it's casually. I don't know for Whooper. And here we go, 10 years later, still stuck with anime land. I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know how we're gonna be in the next 10 years.
I don't know if I hope I'm not watching anime 10 years from now. I mean, I probably will be 5 years from now. I don't know about 10. We'll see, I guess.
We see.
Oh God, I don't want to be thinking about that right now. I gotta focus on these 10 beautiful, excellent series. None of which were
That's right.
none of which were bad. That's not
All
true.
right.
All right, so we're gonna do these in alphabetical order, I think, as is custom. And I know Mario
Yep.
has the list. Oh yeah, and I'm Whooper.
All right.
Hello.
So we will start off with the carryover show, the two carryover show actually, based from alphabetical order. So the first one is Blade of the Immortals.
Oh, I was thinking of Chihayafuru, because of Mugen no
Well,
Juunin, but yeah, we'll do. Sounds good.
yep. All right. Let's do that.
Blade of the Immortal.
Blade
Yeah.
of the Immortals.
Episode
It,
14, right?
yep.
Because I originally I thought it was gonna be 15, but no new episode came out this week, right?
That's right.
All right.
All right. How do you think? How do you feel about these latest episodes?
Uh, I don't know. I thought it was okay. Certainly less hurried than the two previous ones. I think probably owing to the fact that Manji was like stuck in a cell. You know,
Yep.
he couldn't be traveling all around Japan. And what's her name? Rin was largely like confined to that one, like the one house.
Yep.
I can't even, dude. It's been so long, or not so long, but it's been 3 weeks. How did she even? That house belongs to Manji, right?
That's what I thought at first. But then in this episodes, I thought that it was her own house, like her house where she used to live before her parents get killed. I'm
No,
not
I
really
don't.
sure on that
I
note.
don't. I don't think so. I think
All right.
it's. I think it's Manji's house somehow. Like he owns the deed, but never uses it. Something
All
along
right.
those lines. Or else he got set up there by one of the like sword schools. They
Mm,
were like, here, use this building. Maybe like Hyakurin or somebody from the Mugai Ryu told him to stay there. But I don't know. I'm just not paying very close attention, I suppose. And it's hard to because there's a lot of details per episode in
yep.
sometimes in this series.
I do think that this episode is like one of the less significant one for me, at least. Like I don't remember much about the detail it as well. I just remember that Manchi have a whole lot more torture.
Yeah.
Um, and Rain meeting like a couple with different personalities. I like them well enough. Don't know
Yeah.
how the show will use them though.
Well, they're Ito Ryu members.
Yeah. Is that just the wife or is that both of them?
I don't. They're not married.
All right.
I mean, to my knowledge, they're just two members of the Ito Ryu. Um, Doa and Isuka are their
Right.
names. Doa being the woman who like busts down a whole entire section of a wall in order to put up
Mhm.
some. What was it that she put up in the in the
It
house.
it it's looked like a torii gate. So she said that a big window to op-
For
to
the
open
spirits.
for the spirit to go in and out.
Yeah. And then, like she put up stuff throughout the house, like cloth tapestries and
Mhm.
things, I think. Like, was the idea that she's really into feng shui or something? I don't get
Maybe
it.
I
Like, she likes open spaces and particular colors, and like for things for decorations and like ornamentation to be arranged throughout the house in a specific pattern.
I think she more like supernatural kind of people who believe that gods and yokai exist. So she just make that, thinking that it will make the house better.
Well, it's good that she's thinking out, she's thinking about the other people she's living with. She doesn't want them to get eaten by spirits or whatever.
Well, she's supposed to be as the kind of characters who just does what she like, does what she want. So
Yeah.
I don't think that she'll be thoughtful enough to think about other people.
Yeah, I wonder what we're supposed to gain from this story. Like in terms
Yeah.
of Rin's character. I wonder what we're supposed to be learning.
Maybe she learned to trust them and then realize that they are, like the part of the faction that kill her family. But that doesn't work really well. She already see like the leader of Itorio, and
Yeah.
she didn't even kill him then,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like we've already gone through something similar where
right?
she was traveling around with Kagehisa for so long.
So
Um,
I would say that something gonna happen. Like some people gonna come to the house, and maybe they will side to they will side together in order to destroy, kill the others. Whatever.
yeah. I mean, that could be like she's kind of she's no longer seeking revenge on the Ito Ryu, the way she was before after traveling with Kagehisa. So maybe now that she's met Isaku and Doa, maybe this is the start of her like actual alliance with them against some larger force like the Mugai Ryu or something. Although she's also friends with Hyakurin, who's part of the Mugai Ryu. So I don't know what. Oh, maybe the idea is that Hyakurin and these two people that she's currently living with, they'll get in a
Huh.
fight and she'll be like caught in the middle.
Huh. That could happen. That that, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just like spitballing and throwing out ideas because I don't feel as though there's a whole lot of juice to the story in its current form.
Um, let's talk about Manchin then. He got tortured.
Torture,
Yeah, torture. But what else? They actually
more
find
torture.
they actually find a method that that could make another immortals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not.
Where they swap the hands. I thought that was kind of interesting, or the arms, the forearms.
Yep, yep.
Is that actually gonna like? We don't have
I
confirmation that that's gonna work yet, do we?
so it worked in a way. It worked that the hands is working now like normal, but I don't think that the guy turned himself into an immortal.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I don't think. I is his plan to like. Don't they plan to continue chopping off more limbs and continue transplanting?
They they
Because
do they plan to chop his head off and implant another head.
did you watch
It,
the post credit scene this week?
I did. Is it about the Shira coming back?
No.
All
Is
right,
it? Was that supposed to be Shira?
that's supposed to be him.
No, that was supposed to be the guy who they were talking about near the end of the episode. You know how they have to bring in somebody who cuts off like human
Uh,
body parts with precision. I'm pretty sure that was that guy.
well, I thought that was Shira, and I think Shira would be interesting, but I could be wrong.
I mean, if Shira, like is reintroduced to the story, he's not gonna want to try to transplant Manji's limbs onto another body. He's just gonna want to be like rah 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 and
Yeah,
go insane and slash him into a million pieces.
yeah. He will take as much pain for Manji as possible. If that was him, I think that was him.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out, but yeah, I guess we'll find out.
All right. How? All right. How would you rank the show?
Uh, what did I put it? Let me see here. 8, I put it sixth.
I put it 8, actually.
Okay.
So we got 14.
Oh yeah.
Alright. I don't think this is gonna be in for the next for this season.
Probably not, but that's okay because the next one will.
Are you sure?
Well,
Alright,
I
the
guess we'll
next
find
one.
out. I certainly
Yep.
did my part.
The next one is Chihayafuru, episode 13.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that means that you really love the episodes, right?
Yeah, I thought it was good. What else was I gonna say? I guess we just started talking, so it's not a matter of what else. It's a matter of what was I gonna say. Just so you know, like I usually take a lot of notes for these sorts of episodes, but this time I didn't, so I'm working off memory mostly.
Alright.
I mean,
We
how
got
did you like it?
Oh, I really enjoyed.
Oh, okay.
I just said that to tease you, but I really enjoyed the episodes.
I mean, I figured I wasn't really tricked, but
Yeah, that's right.
you know, good effort.
So we got two final matches. We got more time of Inokuma, our favorite characters.
The best character of the year, officially.
Is it?
Yeah, she
Alright,
won.
yeah, that was she won. But she was runner ups in both
Yeah,
our
on two ballots.
All right. So we see a bit of her. I actually a bit disappointed that they finished that match, the Queen qualifier match, a bit too quickly. So we
Yeah.
got like the beginning like normal, and then it just cut off.
Yeah.
But that was good.
I mean, I did like the lead up to it. You
Yep,
know, where
yep.
where her son hands her the what is it?
Flowers.
Yeah, like a specific type of flower, and it probably means
Is
something
it
in like in the language of botany.
all right? It's look like lily to me, but I'm not an expert in flower.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. But yeah, he hands her the flowers and calls her the queen, you know. And then
Yep.
Megumu, and then she looks over her shoulder, and then she sees Megumu looking over her shoulder at her. And then she does the thing with the Tasuki, like she makes the headbands into the Tasuki that hold up the sleeves of her kimono.
Yep.
You know, so it's like both of them are like girding themselves for battle with these different accessories before the match, which I thought was a nice, you know, parallel between the two of them. And then there's that moment where Inokuma says to her right before the match starts, like, both of us are really blessed
Yep.
that we have people, you know, supporting us.
That's right.
And so I thought that was a really nice way to lead into the scene, you know, to kind of put both characters on equal footing, even though Inokuma has clearly received more focus this year. But then the match is over in like 2 minutes.
Well, yes, like they did follow up on the beginning of the match, and then
And then it's over in like 2
It's gone.
minutes.
oh my god. But that I reckon they spend more time for the Hanada for the other match, which
Yeah.
I'm all in for. because I think Arata and Harada match is much more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
I mean much more unpredictable because I think the Queen match we pretty much know that Inokuma have an edge. We don't know about this match though.
I mean, I think I know who's going to win after seeing the end of the episode.
All right,
Listening to Suo's Meiji and Suo's little
wisdom,
listening to what?
hit wisdom.
Oh yes, his wisdom. I was thinking more like his preference, because he's got someone who he wants to be his opponent in the final, in the title match.
All right, I do think that Arata gonna win though.
Oh really? Okay, I think Harada is gonna win. I think the Chihayafuru is just doing the same, set it up that one person's gonna win, and then the comeback happens.
Let's
It does
see.
that pretty often.
That's pretty often. I agree.
I mean, excuse me. Arata is winning right now, 7-13, so he has only 7 cards left to take.
Yep.
So I think that within the first half of the next episode, Harada is going to complete the comeback and win.
What we have another moment between Shuo and Chihara
Yeah,
in which
kind of a strange one.
yeah, that was really weird.
My
I don't know.
bride.
He actually shouting for once.
Shouting.
Yep,
No, he was thinking that to himself.
I think he was shouting. I have like the screenshot right here when he actually shouting.
No, his mouth was just open.
All right.
But I don't think he was vocalizing. His mouth was just open because they were both running.
All right. I will send you that shot.
Well, all right.
Me.
I mean, all I'm gonna see, it's a still image. All I'm gonna see is a drawing of like the letter U with a line over top of it to make a mouth. Like I won't be able to tell from a still image whether or not he's speaking.
All right. Here you go. He have like his hands push up.
Oh yes, no, that's when he's shouting at her. I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend. That he was saying, but the thing about my bride at the end, he didn't say that out loud.
All right. That's still pretty weird. The way he just said that to Chihara.
Oh yeah, I mean it kind of makes sense for his character though because he's so soft spoken.
Yep. Yeah.
Like people probably have a hard time hearing him. He's probably asked to repeat himself all the time.
Yep. And to Chihara, who actually doesn't pay attention to him at the time.
Yeah. Oh, she sees the clock. And she's like, we got to get back to the Karata Hall. Arata, the love of my life, is playing. She doesn't say that, but that's what she's subconsciously thinking, I suppose.
She the one who actually guide Arata how to defeat Harada Sensei.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was cool because in the previous episode that was the cliffhanger. Like, what does she whisper to him? And in this episode, it kind of provides a motivation or like an explanation for how and why Arata adopts like the countenance of his grandfather. Because obviously you don't just make a transformation like that without some sort of impetus, some sort of reason to make that shift mentally. And it is interesting the connection between Harada and Arata and Arata's grandfather, because the two older people in that equation once played like 40 years ago or something. So now Harada can see the former Meijin in his grandson. I mean,
Yep.
I think that most of the episode took place through, like, even though a lot of it was focused on Arata, I think a lot of it took place through Harada Sensei's eyes,
Hmm. Hmm.
making him the point of
I,
view character. So I think that that's a reason to suspect that he'll win as well.
all right. We shall see next week because I'm pretty sure that this show gonna be on our top four. All right. I'm ranked it at number second. How about you?
First,
All right. So that's gonna be 3. The total score. That's
Yep.
good.
yeah, that's a
All
pretty
right.
good score.
Next to the show that I don't think we would agree on that much,
Oh, what's that?
which is Eizouken Niwa Tewo Dashuna.
All right, let's do it. You don't think we agree, huh?
I think you are less enthusiastic about that show more than me.
I see. So how did you like it then?
I really like it. I'm not total, like I don't think that is a total winner, but it have like on the signature of Yuasha.
No, that's the
Uh,
whole thing about the series is it doesn't have all his signature.
I think he toned down a lot for the material, which I actually think that is the best approach.
Yeah.
All right,
Excuse me.
how do you think?
Oh, I think it's fine. I think it's pretty reserved.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like the Future Boy Conan reference. Well, not even a reference. They just like stole footage from it and rendered it in like a different art style with no, line work, no outlines for the characters.
All right. I heard that because they don't have the copyright for Future Boy Conan, so they have to redraw everything.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they even did. Sorry, I keep yawning. I wonder if they even did any drawing. I mean, it resembles the original perfectly. It just doesn't have, it has kind of a different color palette to it a little bit, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have the the black lines.
Mm-hmm.
The character line art. And there's kind of a different texture over the screen as well, kind of like a sandy filter put over it.
I,
Um,
I
but it looks
I
exactly
actually
the
like
same.
it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good.
Yep. I think it fit the show. How you feel about the characters then?
We can just keep talking about Future Boy Conan if you want.
Well, we did do the classic show about Future Boy Conan. We talked about Future Boy Conan for like 3 months,
Yeah,
so
something
that's
like
probably
that.
enough.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I like the character designs. I really love the
Mm,
backgrounds. I think the town where they live. I mean, I think this show
mm,
probably has the best backgrounds out of anything I've seen so
true.
far. Um,
Yep.
when Dorohedoro eventually gets subbed, that might be able to overtake it. But the town where they live is like so creatively laid out. I mean, that to me, the backgrounds, the town where it's set is the most recognizably Yuasa thing about this episode. Is that
Mm,
the town is so crammed with like detail and personality, and its layout is so strange and almost like Dr. Seussian.
mm,
Um, I think he makes it a point to work with background artists that he really respects and that he thinks Yuasa. I mean by saying he. Um, I think he really prioritizes backgrounds, uh, even though he's not a background artist. Like he's an animator turned director.
I think that's appropriate for the show that though then because Midori, the main character, uh, is like a background artist.
Yeah, I guess that's true. She's interested in setting.
Yep.
Um, Whereas a secondary character, the model girl who wants to be an animator,
Yep.
she's the one who, um, you know,
Who do
does
the character designs?
yeah, and the animation, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then the tall girl is like, she, she's kind of, she's just watching this all play out with interest.
She actually the one who put them two together, and she actually the one who thinking that they should make an anime. So she, for me, is a driving force.
I mean, I guess so, but she's not. She's like not a creative person like the other two. At least
No,
not in the sense that you would expect. This being an anime about
that's right.
anime,
Yep.
um, but like, I don't know. Like, I kind of felt as though there was a lack of story to this episode, and I
Hmm.
mean, it's only one episode. That's not really any reason to reduce its mark or write it off or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Like the general sense of enthusiasm for animation to me
Hmm.
was way stronger than any sense of character or plot.
All right.
And like take Shirobako for example. You know, I hate to make the most obvious comparison possible, but Shirobako, like as soon as the time skip hit and it was like these girls working in the anime industry, it's clear like what the show is, you know.
Hmm.
Whereas I don't think this show is clearly anything just yet.
I actually like the looseness in its story. Like how they both imagine, like putting their act together, and they thinking of, like the plane with like insect like design.
Yeah.
I think that speak for the imagination. I I do think that that's like, when the anime, when you shall let loose and just, like just go creative, and I really like that. I really like the way that the plot just like form randomly to say about the creativeness of, of an inspiration and the love of anime and all this, so I like it.
Okay. So you liked the I mean, what did you prefer between the show's two like modes? Did you prefer what was
um,
set in the real world, or did you prefer what was set in the, like kind of the imaginary world where their designs came to life?
all right. For now, like just based on the first episode, I would say the latter.
Ah, okay.
um, the former, because I feel like the model's girl, backstory, like how she run away from her bodyguard, it's just over the top. It just,
Yeah, why
uh,
does this girl want to be an animator?
she's just like drawing, apparently.
I guess. But if she's like so good looking, I would
uh,
just ride that all the way to the bank, or whatever the expression is.
but
Um,
that isn't to say that I don't like the real life story. I like to see how they, like form together and making an anime. I like to see that aspect as well.
yeah, I definitely like the everything set in the seaside town.
Mhm.
I like that more than the
The
fantasy
fantasy,
sequence. Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was the fantasy sequence was cool, and it's a way to represent the fact that both of these characters have like really active imaginations and that they're really passionate.
Mhm.
And I thought the art style, what they did with it, making it, well, I'm trying to call it to memory. It was like kind of watercolor ish, like
Mhm.
the digital ink that they applied. When it came time to color in the drawings, it didn't like totally reach the border of all the.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
looked
Mhm.
like a little bit washed out. Um, I mean, I thought it was all pretty cool in concept, but I ended up preferring the look of the
Of
reality
the real world.
segments more. Yeah.
Yep.
because I really
Yep.
do love those backgrounds, and I think the character designs are pretty cool. They kind of remind me of Hisone to Masotan a little bit.
That's right. Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he was probably inspired by that series at least a little, because I seem to remember there was some sort of shout out to that show in here.
Really?
I think so, somewhere in here. I
All
can't.
right.
I wish I had like. I wish when I did my first impressions write up, I had been like
Yep.
way more detail oriented and
All
like
right.
I don't know why I
We
had that
will see
impression,
then.
but I mean I could be wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I put that at first.
Okay. I think I did fourth. Let me double check. Yeah, fourth.
All right. So it had a total combined score of 5.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep. All right. The next one on the list will be Haikyuu to the top, season 4.
Okay. Did you just recently catch up on Haikyuu?
I recently catch up on Haikyuu. I not that recently. I think it's like 2-3 months ago.
Oh, okay. For me, it was like 2 or 3 years, I think.
All right. So
So
it's time for
I
you
was like,
to
I was relearning everything.
how you find that experience this time.
I thought it was all right. About the same as previous Haikyuu, um, non-volleyball episodes. Like introductory episodes. I mean, I really just like this series for the volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
because there are moments where really gets your blood pumping. You get hyped up. And I don't know whether this season is going to be able to live up to past seasons. Because I assume that you've heard about the fact that they like the character designs are new because it
Mm-hmm.
reduced the line count, to make it easier on the staff,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have all the same animators and such.
I just know that I think they changed the director as well. So they changed a bit of the stuff. But I don't feel that much worry about that.
Uh, I don't. There are some new character designs that I really do not like.
Okay.
Like Asahi's character design. He's a guy with the man bun.
Yeah.
There were
Remember.
some shots of him where I just thought he looked like his soul got sucked out of his body, leaving like an empty husk of a man.
All right. That harsh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bigger eyes, that they're using, and like the less angular features, they actually paradoxically make the characters look less human. Uh, I mean, maybe that's just in contrast to how they looked before, but I really, like I'm okay with most of the designs, honestly, and I understand the reason why you would change them, because the animation is important, like keeping the volleyball matches looking, exciting and keeping them fast moving.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that you would want to make things a little easier on your like a transition to a new staff, at least partially, new group of creatives working on it. Got to facilitate that somehow, but wasn't a fan of 100% of the changes.
Yep. Um. Right.
How'd you like the episode?
It's okay for me. I actually watching the episode. I realized that Haikyuu is best watch when you see it in a bunch.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I like the idea of watching this show like week to week.
yeah. I mean, I had the same thought. I was surprised when you like put this on
Yep.
your list of shows that you wanted to sample.
Well,
I don't want to talk about this every week.
I know my mistake because because I think there are more show there are more interesting original show that we should be focused on. So, but that isn't to say that this episode of Haikyuu wasn't meant anything.
Yeah,
I
it was
just think
fine.
that I just think that it just ill fated for for week to week conversations.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the idea that the characters are going to training camps.
Right.
Um, and I really,
Different training camps.
yeah, yeah. I really liked season three because the match that it was
Yep.
like one match strung out over the entire 10 episode season, and it was awesome, at least in my opinion. But I think what they did with Suki's character, the tall blonde guy with the glasses, was really interesting. Um,
Uh, they did less on Hinata though. Like Hinata put on the landslide for a big chunk of time.
yeah, and I mean that carries over into this season because he's not selected for one of these camps.
Right.
Um,
Well, he
and
crashed into one.
yeah, I mean I thought that was kind of annoying, honestly, that he like inserts himself into a story that is not his.
Yeah. Well, I think it's annoying in the fact that he think that he's good enough to be there. You know.
Yeah, and the prior scenes where he's asking the club advisor, you know, oh well, what about
What
me?
about me?
Yeah, did they say anything about me? Am I getting invited to a training camp? Um, I mean, at least the coach who's running it, the one that Tsuki is at, and that he crashes,
Hmm.
the coach is like, I really don't see any promise in you.
Yep.
So at least Hinata is not, hasn't won him over in the span of like 20 minutes. That would
Mhm.
be, I would be like, get me out of here if that were to happen.
Uh, yeah. I think it's set in the in season three, but the coach had the same issue with Hinata when he was a young player because of the hate as well.
Yeah, that's I've seen people saying that online, but that's the thing. Like, I don't even remember that
Yeah. So
because
so
it's been
that's
so long
why
since I've seen it.
yeah. So that's why he preferred to take strong and tall players like what they call simple and strong. I think.
His motto is simple as best.
All right. That's yeah. Here you go.
Yeah, he likes tall players. He likes strong players. Yeah, because volleyball is about height. I mean, in the real world, somebody like Hinata is not making the cut.
Yeah.
He's not even going to be able to crash a training camp and be like, "I'm here as a ball boy." They'd be like, "We only accept ball boys who are at least 6'3". You got to get out of here, shrimp.
Oh, that has. Well, um, yeah. Well, I could say that in tennis, height is also like a big um, part of tennis as well. And still there are some really small players who become like top 30 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, well, there until recently. I mean, maybe he still is top 10. Until recently, there was a Japanese player in the top
Hmm.
10. I can't remember his name, but he's
Yep.
like he's a hero in Japan.
Well, he told enough.
Oh yeah,
Yep, he's about my age. He about our age.
okay.
He's bigger.
So I assume he's
Uh,
like 6 feet tall or something like that.
uh, 180 centimeters. I don't know like how that transfer in feet.
180 centimeters is exactly 6 feet.
All right.
It's
There you go.
30 centimeters to a foot.
Yep.
Yeah. So when Kageyama in this episode says he's 180 centimeters,
Yeah,
um,
that's right.
I was like, oh wow, he's a 6 foot tall Japanese high school kid. Like that, there's no way that there are multiple 6 foot tall Japanese boys in most Japanese high schools.
All right. I just looked it up. So this guy, the tennis player, the Japanese tennis player, Ken Nishikori,
Yeah.
is 5 feet 10.
Okay, that's how tall I am.
All right. Yep. So
I mean, that's the average height for an American male.
yeah, that I would say is a low, average low in tennis players.
Yeah, I would assume so, Because I mean, your height affects your relationship to the net. You know, like what kind of angle you can shoot from, and how much leverage you have when you hit the ball. Thinking of your whole
That's
body as like a fulcrum.
yep, yep.
Um, but you know, I'm sure he put in tens of thousands of hours of training in order to overcome that barrier.
Right.
Much like
All right.
you know, you always it's the same in Haikyuu. You always see Hinata training. You always see Kageyama training with him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they both work really hard in order to be the best. You know, and
I
that's what sports shonen is all about. You know, you work hard, you become the best.
Yep. That's why I think that the coach who doesn't like Hinata, he has a point about that. Like without Kageyama, he see no value in Hinata. It is
Yeah.
because I think that Hinata is still have a lot of room to improve. Like he doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't know how to serve. I think like he can serve, but it's pretty good or weak.
Uh, Something that you just said kind of intrigued me when you said he doesn't know how to defend. It's interesting that he's placed at a training camp alongside Tsuki, who is the
Right.
best defender on the team. And I mean, Hinata
Hmm.
has that freakish, like supernatural jumping ability. So it's possible that given the teammate that he's been paired with here, he'll learn how to defend. Like that might be what he learns at this training camp. I
I
ki-
I do
I
think so.
I
Yep.
kind of doubt it, honestly, because the show is obsessed with him being like, you know, having the gimmick of like the quick serve and
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
But I think that'd be interesting if he became like part of like a two-man wall, you
Hmm.
know.
I hope hopefully that I really hope that the show does that to him because he's all about attacking. He doesn't really how to block the ball, how to defend. So it's good to see him if he can do that.
Yeah. Although the show
All
in season
right.
3 did just do a lot of defensive related stuff, but
Yep.
they got to mix it
Actually,
up. They got to mix it up somehow with Hinata's character. We'll see what they do.
yep. So what would you rank for Haikyuu?
I put it 5th.
I put it 6.
Okay.
So that
So that's like
would be
right in the middle,
11.
pretty
Yep.
much.
All right. We only got 4 show done, and we need to speed up. That's what I
Okay.
mean.
Cool. We'll speed it up.
The next show is ID Invaded.
Okay. How'd you like? I already know how you like this one. But tell all the good people
Uh,
at home what you thought about it.
I thought that show is a mess. I thought that it's by design though, but I think it had like some interesting concept. It just doesn't really work well because the characters are the kind of characters that we don't really care about. The mystery is not much as a mystery, but more about like how they build up the world. So it is more about explaining us the world building, and I that it is like a double episode, but I only watched the first one.
Yeah, I only watched the first one.
Yep. So yeah. Um. So for me, I will stick around just to see like how they form, how they make sense with the world. But like other than that, I don't think that the character is something that you need to think uh think much about. How about you?
I mean, there are plenty of good anime series where the characters are not quite there. You know, the like Sarazanmai, for example. I think the characters in that show were pretty flat.
All right.
And it was more about like the show's presentation and just all the different directions in which it was reaching thematically. Um, so I don't think it's really necessary for you to really love the characters after one episode, or even at all. Um, and I also don't think that this episode did. I mean, obviously there was a lot of techno babble in the moments when it cut back to the real world, with all the people standing around the well,
Mm.
um, and like trying to piece together information that was being taken from, like, what was that ridiculous concept, like the consciousness particles.
Uh, that I think is the consciousness of
The
the
killer.
killer, the intent to kill.
Yeah. Like there were particles that they had gotten from the scenes of previous crimes, or something. And then when the two people were out in the field driving around in the car, the younger one, like the one who looks like a young boy or girl, I can't tell. Um,
It's a girl, I think.
you think so? Because they have the flower pin in their hair or something.
Be, because she looks feminine to me. I
Oh,
always assume she's the girl.
all right. Like she's holding. I think it's a boy, but we'll just call her girl. I think she's holding some sort of device that is like a tracker for these sorts of particles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ridiculous setup. But even if like the setup is ridiculous, and even if you don't like the characters, a show can still succeed, I think. And for me, ID or Ido Invaded, I guess is how you would say it.
Ido.
For
Well,
me, it was a success. I liked it.
all right. I'm surprised. I
Uh,
think that show is more on the same line with another show that we're gonna talk about um, in the near future. Pet.
oh, this was way better than Pet. Are you kidding?
Well,
Pet
uh,
was garbage. Spoilers.
well, I think it's on the same level as Pet.
All right.
Spoilers.
Uh, no way, dude. I mean, invaded. Like, what are we calling this? Ido
All
invaded.
right.
Whatever.
Indo invaded. Yep.
Yeah, invaded. This show's sense of like style was way. Like, first of all, it looked much better. The animation was much better. Pets was trash. Uh, the especially like the opening of this episode where the guy wakes up in bed, and the show
Yep.
like very naturally lets him discover like where he is, who he is,
Mhm.
how his new body works. I thought that was fascinating, and they didn't like just dump it all onto the screen really fast. And there wasn't there was narration, an internal monologue as he tried to piece everything together. But it wasn't as though he was like a super detective who was like, ah, yes, I see I am in a new dimension, and ooh, look what I can do with my hand. Ooh, hoo, hoo, so clever.
Well,
It
he did
was like
say
it
to
was
himself
it was
that he is
atmospheric.
super detective.
Well, yes, he does say that when he remembers that about himself. But it's not as though the narration was like B stars level, where he's like, "Oh man, I guess I just need to keep all my emotions hidden, and I just gotta just society is just like gotta fit into society." It's not like the way that he thought to himself was the way that people's internal like running thoughts might reasonably be laid out.
All right.
Uh, and it was cool. Like it was kind of atmospheric, though. I much
It
preferred all the
is.
stuff that was in the consciousness of the killer to the
Mm.
stuff in the outside world. Whenever the show was in the outside world, I was like, get back into the weird floating realm where the guy can like shoot his arm like Inspector Gadget and, and like put pieces of a house back together. I thought that was a really neat concept. I thought the show did pretty well with it visually. Uh, anyway, I've been
All right.
talking for long enough.
It does remind me of 18 If. I don't remember if you remember the show.
I saw the
It's
first episode of that, but that doesn't really help because that show was different week to week, I think.
that's right, but the concept is somewhat the same. Like a guy who finds himself within a dream. He's himself is like an unreliable narrator, and like all of the shot just going on around him. I think that's just the same concept, and the 18th just just crashing down. It just gone really bad.
Well, that's no, you can't hold that against this show.
Well, I have my worry about this show to say the least.
All right. Should we do the ranks since we
All
have to
right.
speed up?
Yep. So I put that 9 out of 10.
Okay, I put it second.
All right. Let's see if it's
It's tied with Haikyuu.
wow. Okay, let's go to the next show then. The next show is Jibaku Shounen Hanako-kun.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably feel differently about this one too.
Right. I like the act style. I think the act style was really good.
Okay.
Um,
Not sure I agree, although, it was different at the very least. It wasn't, it didn't make me want to die just by looking like everything else.
all
So
right.
that's good.
The character design, I had some mixed feeling about that because sometimes I feel that the characters eye are too big, that it distract me. Um,
Yeah, I can understand that.
the story itself, it's a I think it's a bit quite generic at first, but I think it's hint for more drama or hint to be deeper at the end. So I think
Really?
overall I think it's okay.
You think I didn't get anything from this episode that made me think it was going to go into any like darker or more
All right,
complicated or more interesting territory in the future. It
all
seems to
right,
me like this is going to be episodic.
all right. Because Hanako-kun, he actually very powerful. Like he slashed down the mermaid.
Yeah.
He and even like she remarked that he's too strong for just being like a ghost.
Yeah, but isn't
So
that just an excuse for him to like defeat a yokai every week, like a new yokai every week?
well, what
Like this
what do you
is a
think?
twisted version of Natsume Yujincho.
Well, maybe not sure. All right. How do you think about it?
I wasn't really a fan. I was indifferent to almost everything that happened.
Mhm.
Um, Wait a minute. Are all my scores messed up?
Is it?
No. Okay, we're good. We're good. Um,
S-
I was indifferent to almost everything that happened. The one time in the episode where I actually felt something was the moment when what's her name? I don't even remember the girl's name. Do you remember?
Sakaido.
Ah,
Sakaido.
wait, really? Wasn't Sakaido the name of the cop in Edo Invaded?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I look at the wrong note.
Oh,
Her name is Nene.
Nene? Okay. Uh, the only moment in the entire show where I felt something was when Nene confessed to the boy that she liked, like originally the one that she liked in middle school.
Yep.
And he said, "Who even are you? LOL. You're gross." And she got
So,
rejected. She got rejected like that.
uh-huh.
Not the guy with the blonde hair who's going to be like a supporting character
Yep.
in the series. The first guy.
How do
Uh,
you know?
what do you mean?
I'm not even getting that.
Oh, you don't even think the blonde guy is going to be a supporting character?
No, I don't.
I think his design is distinctive enough that he would be brought back. Like he's a member. He's a pretty important person at the school. I think like he's well
Uh-huh.
liked and his social circle is probably pretty big. He might be involved in like a few of the other cases that pop up because I really do think this is going to be like a pretty
All right.
uh, standalone type of show.
Yep.
Anyways, when she confessed to the one guy, I really felt for her. Like the way that the guy told her off was really mean and thoughtless.
Mhm.
But then all the stuff about her like trying her best to become a really feminine, it's not wrong for women to do that. To try to become uh, somebody that they think that they're somebody that they think that other people will like. It's not wrong for women to do that. It's not wrong for men to do that. It's not wrong for people to do that. But
Mhm.
it doesn't make her the most interesting sort of character if she's like defined by wanting to be liked, you know.
Yep.
And as for Hanako-san or whatever you want to call him, I thought it was the worst voice acting that I had heard in all 10 of these shows.
All
What was
right.
up with his accent, dude? Like his lilting, kind of loopy affectation that he did to his voice. It was so strange. What was the point of that?
Well, I did pick up on that, so I'm no one to say.
You
All
didn't pick
right,
up on that?
I did pick up on that.
Uh, uh, did or did not?
I did not. I did not.
Oh my, are you serious? Go back and watch. Go back and skip to a random part in the episode, listen for like 30 seconds
Well,
until his voice comes on. You'll
well,
you'll be like, "What the hell is this?"
all right. I watched the episodes in on my big TV with the sound, or and I didn't even pick that up. So, huh. All right, that's just something different. I think I don't have an ear to really pick up the voice performances in especially in foreign language.
I mean, I'm with you there. I do not take note of voice acting very much. It's only when it seems really ill-suited
Mhm.
for a role or really good that I will take note of
Yep.
it. Usually I go through an entire episode without thinking about voice acting. Um, which is why
And
I
it,
watch things in Japanese, because if it's in
so,
English, I'm gonna be like, "Oh my God, this all sounds terrible."
yep. All right. So all right. Let's just wrap it up.
Oh, okay. I ranked it ninth.
I rank it fifth.
Okay.
So the total point is 14. It's the same with Planet of the Immortals.
Yep.
All right. The next show gonna be Kyokou Suiri.
Okay.
This
I
is
read the
the
manga for this one in preparation
all right.
for the what's it called? The
How long
preview,
it took it?
the season preview. The manga is also extremely dialogue heavy, much like this episode was.
Hmm.
And they omitted a bit, but not that much. It was mostly the same story as in the
Right.
like mega huge first chapter,
All
which
right.
is good, I guess.
How long are you into the manga?
Oh, no, not far at all. I read like one chapter beyond what we saw in this first episode.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know. I just sampled it so I could write about it.
Yep, yep. Um, so how do you feel it's live up to the manga? I think I remember that you don't feel uh too fun on the manga materials.
I thought it was okay, and I thought this episode was also okay. I thought
Mhm.
the thing that I noticed I thought the color palette sucked. It
Right.
was
All right.
very, very drab looking.
Hmm.
I mean, I know it was set at a hospital, and I know that it was raining outside. I think in I mean, maybe I just imagined that it was raining because it looked so gray, but I think it was raining in some scenes as well. Like even the monster, like the demon type yokai thing that they fight at the very end,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was pretty anticlimactic. That even
Mm-hmm.
that thing was like kind of just like a red blob. Like I don't know. I think the show's pretty unimpressive visually, even though I think the animation is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean that would be my biggest note is looks kind of boring.
All right. I actually really like this first episodes. Um, the I think the amount of dialogue say to you about the characters of the two main characters. So like the guy, his name is Kuro. He when he say about like the night that he broke up with his girlfriend, he actually admit like the part that like the one of them run away, and the girl Kotoko actually pick up on that. So I think that just tell you about their characters, and I love the girl personality. I think she's like straightforward. She say what she think, and she interesting. Um, I like some of the twist. I think that the soundtrack is actually pretty good.
I didn't
Do you
really pay
remember the
attention.
soundtrack?
No, I didn't pay attention to it, I guess, or it didn't. It didn't
Pop
grab my
out.
ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Um,
about it was interesting?
I just think that the soundtrack accompany a lot of the theme. It just sound different. It
Like
just make
how?
me it just make me feel thrilling with how like all these all the groovy tune.
Groovy. All
I
right.
I'm not fan of groovy.
I
I'm
sincerely doubt that if I rewatch this, I will think that any of it sounds groovy. Like it is not that sort. Like it's not that sort of show.
um, I just think that the soundtrack does a lot of interesting thing
All right.
in these episodes. So I like the story. I like the theme. I like the presentation. I think it's a bit daft as well, like you said, but I'm okay with that.
All right.
All right, let's do the ranking. Or do you
Oh,
have
okay.
any other
I
thing to
mean,
say about the
I
show?
could complain about it more, but we gotta keep this thing going.
All right. After that, we only have like three more shows, so we can be allowed to say like
What's
more about
after
that if
this?
you want to.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I thought the boy's character design is just like poo poo.
Yep,
He
agree.
he is just completely boring looking, and I thought the scene where he lies about what happened that night with the kappa was
hmm
not handled that well, like in terms of the translation maybe. But
hmm
that's
hmm
that's really Funimation's fault, or whoever subbed this one.
hmm
Um, I mean, because I read the manga and it like he just blatantly lied in the manga. He didn't leave it like ambiguous or anything.
hmm
And
hmm
but whatever, that doesn't matter because it's probably a translation thing.
hmm
Um, I really wanted more from the scene where she was asked to become a goddess of wisdom for like the
hmm
lower level yokai.
hmm hmm
Really wanted that scene to be like shot a little bit more creatively, instead of just like showing her kind of on a level with all the lower level spirits, down because she's like down in the bottom of a pit.
Yep.
Um, and the show didn't take advantage of that fact at all.
hmm
Like the sense of depth. It was just shot of her, flat shot of her on a level with all the other yokai, and then some close ups on them, and then they ask her to be the goddess of wisdom, and then close up of her, she's like, with pleasure, cut back to the present day. I thought that was really boring. Like I don't think this show is very well directed at all.
hmm hmm
Um, and to me that like any amount of conversation between two adult characters is not going to make up for that. So there's all my thoughts.
All right.
Any rebuttal?
Nah, it's all right.
Okay.
uh, I put it at my number 4,
Okay, I got 7.
7. So another 11 point.
Yep. I wonder what's going to happen here because we got a lot of 11s and we have only 3 and we have 2 shows that we're doing almost for sure.
Yep, we have
So,
two shows that we almost for sure. I think that the next one gonna be in as well,
oh, okay.
and
What's that?
let's go with that one. Magia Record, the
Okay.
spin-off of Madoka.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was pretty good. I was
Yeah, well,
surprised by how happy I was with it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
all right. You just said the very sentence that I was gonna say. I was surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, the director is different because there's no Shinbo.
Mm-hmm.
The writer is different. There's no Gen Urobuchi. The the composer is different for the music because there's no Yuki Kajiura. So how?
They still use the same signature score though.
Well, no, they actually don't. They kind of trick you in this episode because the very
Well,
first piece of music you hear is from the original
yep,
series,
yep.
but everything else is a new composition.
All right,
I,
all right.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but by and large, I was hearing a lot of new stuff, and it was clearly in the vein of a Yuki Kajiura type of song. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
mixes like choral vocals with rock instrumentation and some orchestra elements. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she has the same compositional style across like a large portion of her work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I don't think the music was bad at all. I mean, I think it was good. I think whoever's
Yep,
picked
yep.
up whoever has picked up the baton has is succeeding, and I think that goes for Gekidan Inukuri as well, who are both directing and writing this season.
All right. Do you think that because we have a certain knowledge of the original, that we could sense something that will go wrong in this show, and do you think that the show imply you that you need to have the knowledge of the original?
Um, I think that even without watching the original, you could get the sense that something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like something is terribly amiss. You know, like the fact that Iroha, the main girl, Iroha, who's like the new Madoka, just because she's pink, I guess. Like her room is like half empty and half decorated. So like visually, something is wrong. Something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out to be her sister, who has been wiped from her memory,
Right.
um, probably due to the wish that she made when she became a magical girl.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you that something is amiss. Then obviously there's the entire plot of them like going to this city on this train, you know, and when they speak aloud like their intention to go to this place, everyone on the train turns to look at them,
Yep.
which is obviously not an idea that the show invented. I'm sure that's part of like cinematic language at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's like the fact that a lot of scenes are set like during a twilight sort of time in the day when everything is kind of like golden, you know, like a kind of like a turning point
Mm-hmm.
between night and day. Things are headed towards darkness. I think there's all sorts of clues that something is wrong here.
Right. Right. Yep, I think that sense of something wrong about to happen, and that they hinting enough that we know something is wrong, and we might guess what was wrong. Is I think like the atmosphere. I think that is like one of the best thing that I can recommend in the show.
Yeah, it's you know it's spooky. It's kind of
Yeah.
spooky.
Um, I also think that Iroha, the new main character, is much more interesting than Madoka.
You think so?
I think so. I think Madoka is so plain.
Well, yeah, I would say that's true. I don't think Iroha has done much to set herself apart yet. I mean, she's kind of the one who's like she's along for the ride when they go to this new city where magical girls can be saved. But it is her
Yep.
friend who comes up with the idea to go there because she's had this dream, and
Yep.
Iroha doesn't have it until the end of the episode. You know,
Um, I just think that her friend, I think her name is Kuroe, Kuroe, will be the first one to die based on
oh, why do you think that?
based on the dreams she had.
Oh, okay. See, it's been a while since I've seen this episode, and I don't remember the particulars of the dream. I remember there being train tracks and a lot of people walking in a particular direction. I
Mhm.
guess there were a lot of magical girls. Um, and one image that I really remember is like all the magical girls' wishes being like um, affixed to all the buildings in this city.
All
Do
right.
you remember this the sequence where there's like a whole bunch of there's like books are open and there's like it's like graffiti on the walls of buildings and there'll be signs in shop windows and every surface on which text could be laid out. There's like a bunch of wishes for magical girls.
Hmm.
I don't remember if that was part of the I don't remember if that was part of the dream sequence or if that was
No, no, no.
actually that
See,
was the city.
yeah, that was the CD, and that girl just said that she was dreaming of, of the dream that of the same dream that every that others magical girls has been dreaming.
Right. Right.
Um,
Ugh.
I also like the fact that the show make no secret about like how these magical girls dream, what they dream or what they want her wish come true, and those wishes are something just just as stupid as I want my loved one, I want my crush to love me back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, they're like 14-year-old girls or how old are they? Something like that.
Yep, yep, something like that.
That's probably what they want most in the world at that point.
Yep.
I mean, and I
Just,
think QB, like the incubators, they what was the reasoning provided in the original series? Like the
um
the emotions of human females at that age are like the most potent, like they're the strongest,
yep,
which is what fuels their power. Like
yep,
at the moment when they make that wish, and that's like transferred into their ability as magical girls.
yep.
That's
And so that I from what I remember, that was one, and then when they turn into the witch, that transformed the energy as well.
right. Yeah, it's all about energy transference because that was the whole plot of the first season was that the incubators were trying to stave off. I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like the heat death of the universe. Like it's all about preserving energy, so
Yep.
that that doesn't happen. I can't. Damn it! it's like some scientific term. I can't remember what it is. I'll probably remember when we're talking about a different show.
All right. I think that you have the show ranking just as mine. I put that at third.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So total score of 6.
Okay, so we know. I think we know three of the shows.
Yep.
But the question is there going to be a gigantic tie for fourth?
Yep. Let's wait and see. The next one, I do think that we have the same ranking as well. The next one is Pet.
Trash.
I actually really like the idea. Uh, I like how the show tried to be different. So I take notes of their effort.
What effort? If they had put even a little bit of effort into the series, it wouldn't have looked so. Dude, like, what is it with Geno Studios anime?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like their other two big projects, Kokoku,
Yep.
didn't look this bad at the start, but it eventually, I think, fell to this point.
Right.
And I thought I didn't watch very much of what was it called, Golden
Oh,
Kamuy, but
oh, Golden
I thought
Kamuy.
that show was ugly. Like
All right.
I thought the animation was bad. I thought the production was bad.
All
Uh,
right. I can say that except from the CG bear,
oh, I'm
which,
not even talking about the bear. Like
which was unbearable.
ho ho ho.
I think the second season was all right.
I doubt it,
Uh,
dude. I kind of I feel like Geno Studio is one of the studios associated with Twin Engine, you know,
yep, yep, yep.
the motorcycle thing. It's one of the studios associated with that like production group or whatever they are. And their idea to like adapt all these interesting manga series that most other studios wouldn't touch or that most other production companies wouldn't fund. I
Hmm.
mean, it's an interesting idea, but it seems to me that their philosophy is, oh, we just got to get this done. We just got to make an adaptation of this. And what it actually looks like or feels like is of secondary concern.
I do think that except from Golden Kamuy, the there's the manga that they picked were from from the from the 90s, early 2000s, and it isn't really, they are not really a straight up classic. They are more like a cult following. Like I think that Kokoku was more like heavily limited but like passionate following than like straight out classics, and I think this one is the same as well. um
But you would figure that if it's a manga like with a very small but passionate fan base that they're adapting,
mhm.
that they would really care about
The
making it
production.
look good in
Yeah,
an animated form, like, you know, but
yeah,
eh.
well,
I mean, for Pet in specific,
mhm.
this show just looks bad. Like, I hate all the backgrounds. There's a lot of digital assets.
Yep,
Not a lot of
agree that.
like. There's not very much illustration that went into the background art, and the animation is like, I don't know. It feels like it's mostly on the threes. Um, not a lot of not a lot of convincing motion to be found in this episode, I thought.
Mhm. All right. How about the story?
I thought the structure was really bizarre. Like the main character of this episode is a victim of the actual main character's psychic manipulations.
Yep.
Why I wonder, I mean, that's kind of interesting, but I don't think that that idea was used to great effect
Hmm.
in this episode because I mean, it's true that you know, like the reveal where the two guys who he's been rooming with or whose landlord he is, I can't remember what their relationship is exactly. It turns out that they were plants. You know, they were the masterminds all along. But their relationship to him is not strong enough
Hmm.
um, to begin with for that reveal to be anything other than like, oh, so why tell this episode that way?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's not like,
Um,
oh my God. It's more like, wait, so like why wouldn't you just do this completely differently? At least that was
well,
my reaction to it.
yeah. I think like it just supposed to be for us to connect on the dots, and like in the second or third episode they're gonna explain everything, which I think is fair, because after this one I don't think that either of us gonna watch another episode of this.
No, I'm not. I mean, I that and that's a shame because like I could easily see this being the sort of anime where it's like, oh, just the first episode doesn't matter, you know,
Mhm.
like the story begins in episode two.
That's right.
Um, that could easily be the case, but even if it is, like I'm not curious to try again because like I can only think of one scene in this entire episode that was memorable to me, or that I thought was even decent looking. The slow motion cigarette scene.
All right, all right. That is interesting. How do you remember like on the first 5 minutes of this episode, we're talking about a case where there is a kid. I think his name is Satoru. Just sit there and watching TV because he been plucked off from the world.
Did you just punch your microphone?
Yeah, I did. Is that
When
is it really
you
clear?
said block off, did you like do a blocking motion with your hand or something?
Well, I do some gesture.
Okay,
I do body language. All right.
gotcha.
Um,
I don't.
it,
It was effectively communicated through your microphone.
um, is that story have any relation to the second story?
Yeah, it does. So it does. I don't think it's made clear. I don't think it's made clear enough.
Right.
They don't cut straight from an image of one character as a kid to their grown-up version in the future,
Mm-hmm.
or associate them with a specific object, so that we'd be able to make that association later in the episode. But yes, they are connected, and I didn't understand just how connected they were. The only character who I understood carried over from one to the other was the boss.
The guy who smoke.
Yes, because
Right.
he was the guy who was at the orphanage or the hospital or whatever. I guess
Mm-hmm.
it was a hospital, um, and he was looking for like kids that he could recruit, and then he's the crime boss
Mm-hmm.
in the second half. But there were more connections than just that. The kid who was banging his head, who was watching TV and then later started banging his head on the thingamajig,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yep.
desk or whatever, because he was like psychically sensitive to
Mm-hmm.
um, his mom's thoughts.
Yep.
He is the person with the scar on his face, like the henchman with the
Oh,
piercings and stuff.
all right.
So
Um,
he's still working for the crime boss in the future after he got recruited at this hospital.
he
In the
didn't say anything when he, from what we watched, right? As an adult.
He had very little dialogue, yeah.
All right. That's why I don't remember much of him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the show didn't make that connection very clear, I don't think, for that character in particular. And also we didn't get any follow-up about like the one of the most interesting parts of the show, I thought, was the moment in the first 5 episodes when the long-haired guy
Mm-hmm.
approaches the younger child and is like, you got to make peaks and valleys in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
in order to keep yourself sane. You got to lock away the parts of your power that are hurting you, and create a good mental space in which you can exist.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, the long-haired guy, I don't know where he is in the future, which is now the present, I suppose.
Yep.
Um, Nor
He
was that
might.
concept really followed up on at all.
Yep. He might still be around, but not in this episode.
Yeah, it was just. I thought it was a misfire.
All right. I put that as the last spot.
Yeah, so did I.
All right. So that have a combined score of 20.
The rare 20. We didn't get a 2 this time, but we did get a 20.
Yep. Well, we did get 3. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's close enough. All right. To the very last show of our 10 shows, which is Somali to Mori no Kamisama. I think this is like the one of the first shows that airing in this season.
Yeah, yeah. It was. And I think wasn't Pet one of the first as well?
This one was one of the first. I think this one was pre-airing before it actual release.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Which would also mean that you watch it the longest. So
Yeah.
your memory might not be
Well,
perfect.
I
I
mean,
think.
I have a stronger memory of this one than I do of some others.
All right, that's good.
At,
One
at
thing,
least, at least there are things to remember about it.
right? One thing that I will say right now is I gonna recite one of the dialogue in the show.
Oh,
Tell
go
me
for it.
tell me again what is the conflict between human and ours again? I think that what they say.
Oh yeah, right before the one of the characters launches into like a 3 minute summary
It
of
it feel like now.
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the worst part of the episode. Um,
I agreed.
and the thing
Uh,
is, it wasn't even necessary because right after that big summary of how humanity went nearly extinct,
mhm.
one of the after that happens, immediately afterwards, one of the characters says something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, humans are so delicious."
Yep. Yep.
Uh, so you don't really need to tell us that humanity went extinct because they were hunted down by other species. If one of the characters says that humans are delicious, it implies that they were hunted for their meat,
That
like for their
that's
taste.
right. I think that the whole section was total unnecessary, and it actually made the show cheaper by like spoon feeding us all the information that we can pick up.
Yeah, we could have picked it up over the course of like several episodes if they had let us.
Even if in the very first episode we can be able to pick it up.
Yeah, well, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, it was. I also thought that was pretty bad, but I didn't think that it like brought the entire episode crashing down.
it does a bit for me.
Okay.
Um, how do you like about the central relationship between Somali, the human, and
The
his
golem.
the golem, his
Uh,
father?
yeah, yeah, yeah. His dad, his robot
Yeah.
dad. Um, I don't think he's actually a cyborg. I like golems. To me, what a golem is like it's like a human shaped um creature made out of clay, and then like life is breathed into it. I don't know if that's what we're
Mm.
meant to get from this guy. He looks a little bit more robotic than I would assume a golem would be.
Because he says out loud that he doesn't possess any feeling, so that's why his behavior are a bit robotic.
Yeah. Um, how do I feel about the relationship between him and Somali? I mean, it's good enough, I think.
All right.
It's interesting that I suppose that it's interesting that he insists that he has no human emotions, but he clearly
Mm.
does. You know,
Yep.
not
Yep.
not like typical ones or particularly strong ones, but he has emotions nonetheless.
Mhm.
And he's interested in caring for Somali. He mostly I think because he feels it's his duty because he's like the protector of the forest and that's where he found the child.
Mhm.
But I think he is learning about humanity and probably like emotional existence in general.
Mhm.
And I think he's probably curious. I would say that probably defines their relationship more than anything else as like curiosity. Somali
Mhm.
is curious about the natural world. The golem is curious about Somali.
Yep.
I think that's
Yep.
kind of an interesting dynamic.
Right. I also see that one of the strength of Somali the show is like in the background design. How do you feel about it though?
I mean, do you already know what I'm going to complain about right now?
No, I actually don't. But go on.
The sunbeams, bro. The
All right, so
sunbeams. There's like shafts of light, like rays of sunlight intruding on every single external shot. It's madness.
in
It's
the internal
terrible.
shot as well. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes when there's like a window through which
All
sun
right,
can
right.
be filtered. But
Yep.
so many shots are like polluted by these sun rays, and it's something that this studio has been doing, like not just for this series, but across their more recent works. Do you remember Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens at all?
The ramen show? No, I
Um,
don't.
it was like an action series where there was a city where every like 30% of the population were assassins or something like that.
All right, all right.
And one of the
Still,
characters is a cross-dresser, and the main guy has like it's kind of like a Durarara clone.
all right.
I guess not.
Yeah, not really. All right,
Okay.
go on.
Anyway, the show is exactly the same as this one with regard to like the sun rays.
Mm-hmm.
There's some like director of photography or composite engineer or something who thinks this is a really great idea and is
Mm-hmm.
applying the look to a bunch of satellites shows. Anyway, I spent too long complaining about that. Apart from that, the background art is cool.
All right. I'm in between as well, so I'm not really wow over by the background design. I think they have like some of the great shot. I do think that is yeah a bit too bright, so I think the sunbeam as well for me.
I think sometimes, like putting aside the brightness, yeah, which I agree is an issue. I think sometimes, like in shots of the forest, it feels a little bit too dense. Like they just
Dense.
wanted to, yeah, dense. Like they just wanted to cram in as much, plant life and animal life as they possibly could, and as a result, it doesn't feel like a real place or a place. Well, obviously,
Um,
it's not a real place, but it doesn't feel like a place that could exist.
all right. Doesn't Eizouken have the same approach, but it have like
No,
very different effect.
no, I don't think it has the same approach at all. I think that's just a creative layout of a place that could conceivably exist. Like it's a really detailed spin on a human town.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is a fantasy setting, and it like for example, Eizouken does not try to put 30 different architectural like concepts or designs into one shot. This
Mm-hmm.
show will sometimes put like 30 different types of plant life into one shot. And I'm just like, "Bleh, what's going on? Where am I supposed to be looking? My eye is not being directed in any particular to any
Mm-hmm.
particular part of the frame as it should be."
Yep. For me, I'm not totally impressed by like the forest setting, for example, but the town. I think the town looked really good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Um, yeah, I actually know the show that you were talking about, Hataka Tonkotsu Ramens. Is
Yeah.
that have the same issue as well?
Yeah, the sunbeams.
Ah,
Absolutely.
what a shame.
Although that show had more interior shots, so it wasn't as big an issue. This one was like, oh my God, it was set almost entirely outdoors and just drove me crazy.
All right. So the ranking. Do you have anything else to want to say about the show?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think his eye is cool. The golem's eye is really cool.
He doesn't have any eyes, does
Yeah, he
he?
does when he unzips his mask and he has that like green all-seeing eye. Remember the
All
scene where he
right.
goes up on top of that tower because he's looking for Somali and he uses his eye in order to like it's like a homing device, kind of.
Yeah. All right. Don't really remember that much.
Oh, okay. I thought that was cool. That's about it. I ranked it
All
eighth.
right. I rank it 7. So a total combined score of 15.
Now we got to break a big old tie here, I think.
All right. Yep. So we got 3 shows that enter the race, enter the covering for next season, which is Chihayafuru 2, Eizouken, and what is the next one? And
Magia
Magia
record?
record.
Yeah.
So we can either break down the ties now, or we have another show that actually gonna running late.
Right. Yeah. Dorohedoro. Well, I
Yep.
assume it'll get subbed by next week. We could just wait, I suppose. Do
Yep.
you want
That's true.
to? Okay, you don't want to decide like which one of these three it would be, on the
Yep.
off chance that, yeah.
I reckon we're gonna wait and then we're gonna uh, choose one between those four shows.
Okay. I'm pulling for ID Invaded, baby.
All right. Other than these 10 shows, is there any other show that you watch and you like to recommend?
Oh, that's a good question. I wasn't prepared for that. Uh,
I got two shows actually.
I think the Idol show was the one where the girl is obsessed with the idol.
All right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty decent. I
Oh,
like the art.
I see something. Um,
Yeah, it's Oshi ga Budokan ga something washinai. Like the title is, if it, like, I would die to help you get to the Budokan, which is like the biggest theater in Japan or something.
all right. I like pack a bit. I didn't like the way that they trying too much on the idol stuff. But when she waiting for like the whole day in the hot days, oh my god, that's so amazing. And she feel that she's so sweaty that she doesn't even want to stand close to her idol. That just so sad. That just bring out like a moment of like emotional truth for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have used the word emotional truth or the phrase emotional truth to describe that show. I just
No,
think
no,
it looks pretty good.
because
Um,
like the whole episode were very loud. Like the characters, her character herself was loud, but that a single point where she actually acting all shy and like being reserved.
yeah.
Yep. So not a total winner for me. I would prefer another two shows.
Okay, what are those?
One of them is Hosekiko Recheck Shi no Jaku Kante. So that's
The Jewel one.
yeah, the one about the shoes. I think that the one of the better premiere shows airing this seasons. We
Huh.
love it.
I
If
might try it out. I had no desire to try that, but
try that out because I if I put if we do that on our 10 show, I gonna put that at third.
really?
Yeah, another
I'm pretty surprised, dude. Above Magia record?
above that. Um,
What? Okay.
the other show is the another show by idols. Runway Del Warate.
Oh, that I definitely don't want to watch.
All right.
The production just looks so bad, dude. You watch the PV, it's like slideshow tier. It looks terrible.
All right. To each his own, I think. I didn't like the first 5 minutes, but the rest was alright for me.
What is this studio? Ezola. Oh, they did Happy Sugar Life, the Yandere
Yeah, yeah,
series
yeah,
from like two
yeah,
years ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they did an ecchi show from last year. This is some quality stuff right here. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some good things about the Runway show. I mean, the manga has been recommended to me. Um, so I think people, and people have liked the show as well. Probably just based on the strength of the source material, I would imagine, or the characters, something like that. What's
All
up with
right.
idols? What's up with idol shows, or like fashion based shows suddenly being okay? What's the deal?
Uh, well, have no idea.
It's a whole new trend.
Well, we still have a lot of bad isekai shows.
Are there?
Well, that's the one about the defense thing. Like I put all the thing as a defense. I don't
Put all
want to
my
get
stats
hurt,
into
so
defense.
I max out my defense.
Right.
It's terrible.
I haven't seen it. I don't plan to.
All right. Um, So that's it for this week. I think next week we're gonna pick the four show and we're gonna watch the last batch of M for the Ace before we decide on the new classic shows.
Yep, we gotta get that done. Boy, I
Right.
sure hope I remember anything about Aim for the Ace after 3 weeks off.
You will pick up right off, I think.
Yeah, it's like it's like holding a tennis racket. You just hold it, and then all your memories of how to play tennis come rushing back.
Yep. All right. Um.
We're done.
Yep. Have a good week, guys. See you guys next week.
Bye bye.